Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Hey, Paul. I can't hear you. 1 second. Sorry.
Can you hear me?
Forgot to turn off something. Can you say hi again?
Hi.
Hi. Okay, now I hear you. You hear me fine?
Yes.
Okay, great. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
So who shared the link for the initiative?
Yes, it is one of my friends. His name is Boaz. He was in this. Yes, he was in the session, the last session. So he sent me the link, and he told me that it could be important for me to go there and to try to check what you are doing, so I can just try to translate what you are doing for our local community.
That's really good. I'm just making a note. Going to open up my notes file here. So I think I remember that name somewhere. I think he was on the call yesterday for the Cardano Catalyst town hall.
Yes.
Okay. So have you been working with Cardano? Are you learning yourself?
Now I am working. I am learning about Cardano. I am learning Cardano as a technology. I am learning Haskell, and I am at the beginning of learning Bluetooth.
Okay.
Yes.
And where are you learning that?
I am using Gimba Labs with Janti. He's doing something the same as you are doing with a PPBL in English. He's just trying to translate it in French for us.
Okay. And who is that person?
Janti.
Jensen.
Yes, Frederick.
Okay. Okay. I think I know him as well. You know, I am in Gimba Labs as well, trying to learn Bluetooth PBL.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So we have a few people in common. That's great. And I didn't know that Frederick was translating Gimba Labs PBL. So it's really good to know as well.
Yes.
Okay. So have you taken a look at what we do, our YouTube? Quick look. By the way, you can speak in French and I can answer you in English because I probably will understand everything. Or you can resort to French if you need in some sentence. That's ouais.
Okay.
Moi, je peux dire quelque chose, mais c'est toujours on mélange de mots dans ma tête. C'est pour ça que je préfère parler en anglais et de vous entendre en français.
No problème. Je vais parler en français. Alors, si vous pouvez me capter correctement en français.
Okay. By the way, so you can stay in French if you want, but by the way, we are recording this just to share because one of the things that I mentioned in this week's video that I was just releasing today is that we are really trying to look for teachers of other languages and to try to, the concept of this project is really just, it may become just 5 sessions, 6 sessions to introduce someone, or maybe you can have that main introduction and then we have side plans, but it's always going to be each trainer gets to reinvent his content, and we're just trying to facilitate the coaching, I would say, almost for the new trainers like yourself. Okay.
Okay.
You were going to say something? I'm sorry.
No. I am just bon. J'essaie de comprendre en fait ce que vous faites déjà.
Okay.
Je trouve ça intéressant.
Okay.
Parce que nous-mêmes, quand M. Frédéric nous a intéressés à Cardano, c'était un peu compliqué en fait déjà de commencer. Il y avait beaucoup de choses à apprendre et on ne comprenait pas. Déjà, la blockchain, ce n'est pas vraiment très évident en termes de technologie.
Ouais.
Mais également, l'approche qu'il a choisie, c'est qu'on devrait l'intégrer au sein de l'université au niveau local ici, là où il est promoteur. Alors, l'université n'est pas une université technique.
Okay.
Alors, la plupart des gens ne sont pas techniciens, ils ne comprennent pas. Alors, on essaie maintenant de les amener à intégrer maintenant la technologie en question pour pouvoir travailler. C'est un
Okay.
peu ça. Alors,
So the approach here is really starting it from, like, imagine you're teaching a family member, a kid, or someone that's completely not technical. And the first thing we take, the first approach that we take is the same that we are taking in Gimbal Labs, which is just use the test net. Don't worry so much about, this is your real money. No, we're just going to play with it like if it was game tokens or something like that. And if you have that approach, let me just start sharing my screen. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a bit the documents that we work from. That's why I was suggesting that you take a look at our, what we have in our link tree. Let's start with that one. But I'm pretty sure that if you try to take to use our resources as a learner, you will quickly start understanding what we have and what you can work with from our side. So let me just get a browser up here. Okay. So the main entry point for our things is this link tree, right? My approach would be ideally, so for example, now I'm trying to look for Portuguese learners, and this is the group where we met that you joined. But my approach would be, okay, this is the English course. And if we start having a French and a Spanish and a Portuguese course, I would do this complete set of links in a different language. And I would sort of add in here Francais, and that's it. So it's like, or we could register Cardano pour le non technicien, something like that. And so we would have a completely tailored set of resources, because in the end, this was really improvised. Just to point out to you, for now, I'm really just seeing this as an experiment. I may come to try to do a proposal, Catalyst, they fund initiatives.
Yes.
If this gets a bit more structured, I may try to put in a proposal for Fund 10 to say, okay, let's get some incentive for the teachers and the learners to spend their time on this. But because you already have your community, and me, I already had a number of learners, and now I'm trying to do it in Portuguese, and I'm going to pick my niece, my cousin, my friend. So I'm going to do it for my friends. So it's not, I don't absolutely need to be incentivized. If I'm spending 2 hours per week on this. But in terms of organizing several languages, maybe the proposal will be interesting. So coming back, let's just take a look at what we have here. So you have a welcome video. I'm putting everything in my personal YouTube. And I think that's more than enough. So I just record things on Zoom, like I'm recording this call. By the way, I'm sorry, I didn't mention, but I'm recording this call because I'm sharing with a friend, for example. I've already spoken with a French friend. Maybe she can work also on the French side of the course and share efforts with you, okay?
Oui, j'ai compris.
Okay, so yeah, the first thing is I'm just pushing things to my own YouTube. So if you go into the playlist, I just upload things and put in, it starts getting a bit of a history here. We have session 1, 2, 3. This was one, I'm just using free Zoom calls. So when the time runs out, we just cut it and that's it. I only had to come back on the call once. And apart from that, we've been able to contain, because if we don't do everything that we had planned, we just leave it for next week. And so this makes it easier for me and for the learners. So, at least we call it, we time box, we limit it on the time, right? So that we don't spend so much time. Obviously, I spend a bit more time after this when I am publishing a video. I have to go and review the video to put in some timestamps, because I think it's really helpful. Let's just load it here. So here, now I started putting in a little summary, a 3-line summary of what we're doing today. Here are the links for the link tree, for the playlist, so that if someone finds this on YouTube, they can be invited to see the broader initiative. And yeah, I was saying, I spent a little of time putting this here so that people can navigate here and they can see a bit what we're doing at each step. But okay, so this is the YouTube part. And then this document is quite interesting as well. So all you need is really a Google account, because that will give you YouTube, Google Docs. And for example, I think one of the approaches we could take is, if you want to start a French course, you would just open this document, come here and do, you see my computer is all in French because I am learning French. Okay, do you need a few minutes? If you need, okay, yeah, I can wait. Okay.
Let's go.
Okay, let's go. So I was just saying my computer is in French and everything because I usually am learning French. I've worked in BNP Paribas for a few years and I love languages. So all you have to do here is create a copy and you could start translating things on the spot. But I would really tell you to maybe create a copy and clear a bit of the sessions. So let's take a look at the document in overall. Okay, so as context here, I'm just explaining that, you know, we're an initiative just where we provide a space for people to play and discover the different uses of Cardano. In terms of also with your learning, you've already seen that there's testnet, there's pre-production, and there's mainnet. So we're transitioning from testnet to pre-production. So there's not many apps available. And so we've been struggling a bit to find what we can do. That's one of the goals of where I spend some time off of the sessions, is preparing what platforms I can use next sessions. But so yeah, so this is really just an introduction, some links. Here, reference to Gimbal Labs, where I met the first learners from where we started the idea of this course. Here I'm just separating a bit that although we're doing a course about a technical thing, or crypto is a bit technical, but I'm really trying to create a space here of functional questions where learners can distinguish, okay, even the name of this initiative comes because everyone keeps saying, oh, I want to learn about crypto, but I'm not technical. And so the presentation here is like, okay, it's okay if you're not technical. We just need users. We're not looking for developers with this course. We're looking for Cardano users. And as a user, you can have these simple questions of, how do I do this? How do I do that? What if I had done this upside down or something like that? So this is sort of an icebreaker for people. And here I wanted to put in a typo there. I wanted to put in just a summary to give you a end-to-end view of what we do. So this was what we improvised doing session 1, create an AMI, get test ADA from the faucet, which is free play money, and send it to colleagues. So this is a session. Because it's a bit like school, you know, you have in around, I'm from Portugal, by the way. So we have classes in batches of 45 minutes. And this is a bit like that. It's just one class a week where we just get in, we talk to each other a bit, and we do some little things this week, some little things next week. Now, what's happening with the last few sessions is that I started using the time a lot more for conversation and presentation. And I'm not really happy with this because I want to, for example, the last session, we were looking at using Miro, which is just a collaborative board. Have you used it?
And I think that will be helpful for me.
Yeah, so I'm gonna show it to you here in a second as well. But yeah, so the goal would be to maintain the content of the class in practical things. But now I think we feel like we need to use Miro to prepare a bit the idea so that we can go on the call and really do things. Okay. Any questions so far?
Il n'y a aucune question. Je pense que tout est clair pour moi. Pour la partie là, c'est
okay. Bon. Super. So this is just a curiosity that I dropped here as session 0, because this was the meeting where I was meeting with the first learners before I knew they were going to that we were going to start this. And also here, I have a few links about what is Cardano about, because this is a message I compiled for them with how they could start. So here, when I'm telling them how they can cheat and use just 1 or 2 lessons of Gimba Labs PPPL, that's when I started thinking, okay, instead of me telling them to go into PPL just to do this and this, maybe I can take that content and do a course for non-technicals. So maybe you want to take a look at this on your own time, and you have a recording here, even if you want to take a look. And then we actually started the first session where I prepared this one. I have some background as a trainer. So in terms of preparing the resources we're going to use, prepare some topics. And here I was a bit more methodic of doing that. I even created a bit sort of like a mission statement of how we are going to behave, or what posture we're trying to take in the sessions. And here, introduction. If you watch this video, it's one of the ones that's more structured. So here's just a template.
J'ai déjà essayé un peu de parcourir les vidéos.
Okay. Okay.
Pas complètement, mais je vois déjà l'approche.
Okay. And if you have time, if you are curious, I encourage you to try it yourself, because if you're going to be running the course, it's important that you're at least one step ahead of the learners. But even if you're not, it's just a workshop. It's not a university lecture, not even a class. It's just a training, and even more improvised than a training. It's just a workshop where people share what they know and investigate what they don't know. From here down, it's like you see on session 2, I already had to talk about this problem there of the transition. And then, so from here down, it's really just sessions where we're trying to improvise. One thing that we could do across languages is to have this tree of contents. And that's why we can get to the backlog document. So if I go there, here, if I click, I'm not going to click on it because Miro is a bit tricky. So I need to open a private browser for now.
A private browser. Parce que moi-même, j'essaie de l'ouvrir ici localement. Ça a trop traîné, je ne sais pas trop pourquoi.
Okay. So what I do is I open it in a private browser, and I created a login. I actually have 2 logins because of the free accounts and everything. So if I do this very carefully, go in incognito or private browser and select my account with username, password. Don't use to sign in with Google because it confuses the system a bit. And if I do that, it usually works perfectly. If I had done this, for example, here, when you say traîner, it's dragging and it doesn't get out of it, right? That's what's happening for me as well here. So it keeps asking me to log in or something like that. One thing that I'm also doing is, well, let's get into that later. Let's just stick to the content there. So for now, I didn't really transpose what we have already done. Actually, that's something that every time I come to this board, I'm still adding little things. So I'm going to duplicate, so Miro, I introduced it in the video that I just released. You can just move around, move in and out, and you can click buttons to share document, to change objects, I mean. So for example, here, I'm going to widen this one. I'm going to drag this one, but I press the Alt key. So instead of moving, I am duplicating it. And maybe what I'm going to put in here is we can bring across what? Okay, because if I do this work here of bringing across past sessions, this could give you some help on preparing your sessions from the beginning. And so, yeah, so we need to work on our past. This is our present, and this would be our future. So these are some ideas that I was working on Google Docs, and now we need to come here and break these down into little post-its to try to decide what we want to do. So the main thing here, it's really just experimental as well, but we can drop things with the purpose of talking about them and ideating, or say brainstorming what we want to do. we can try to use this column here to go and research a topic. And then I can do, for some technical things, just out of curiosity, I can do a demo, but it's not meaning for people to do. So if I demonstrate how to create a token with command line, I don't mean the learners, the non-technical learners to do that, but it's a demo that may be interesting for them. The main one, that's why I made it a bit wider here, is that to keep things hands-on. So this is the main one where we want to put content in and work. A colleague from Plutus, again from PPBL, had already has added here. So we're trying to collaborate with Roberto reached out and is trying to collaborate. Go for it, Paul. You have a question?
Oh, oui, oui. Je voulais demander, je voulais juste demander si l'outil ici fonctionne comme l'outil de gestion des projets proposé par GitHub, les backlogs là, où vous mettez les issues, et puis ça va progresser de manière progressive comme des tasks et puis tout ça, quelque chose de ce genre.
Well, I haven't used the GitLab part, but I'm imagining so, because this is just a concept of the backlog. So this part from this post-it down would be more of our backlog, but yeah, I'm still experimenting a lot. This here is just some points where people can, you know, for example, I would invite you to come in here and add your name and take some of these tokens to go and vote on topics that you like. So you can drop them where you want. And now I'm just going to do Control Z to put them back. Just going to do Control Z, Control Z, and to undo what I've done. So yeah, this is the Miro board. For example, on the next sessions, maybe what we can do is import a wallet on Android and share with colleagues, or we can go and play with the address book in Eternal, or play with creating multiple accounts. Have you done that part? Eternal allows you to create multiple accounts to separate. So with the same seed phrase, you will get to manage, like if you have several wallets.
Ça, j'ai déjà essayé avec Namu, Yoroi et... Oh là là, je pense que j'ai déjà essayé avec 3 ou 4 wallets. Les mêmes accounts qui est ici, je l'importe avec la phrase de récupération dans les autres wallets.
Ouais, c'est ça.
Ça, j'ai déjà fait.
C'est ça que nous avons fait aussi avec Game Changer. Game Changer is really cool because it allows you to create your own tokens and etc. So let me just zoom out so we can have a few minutes to focus more on your questions. So this board, we could ideally, you could maybe not have one of these in session 1 or 2 or 3 with your learners. Maybe just stick to these types of notes. And I forgot to mention another thing that we're using, which is this playground sheet. And this is something that is working fairly good, even with Gimbal Apps PPBL, because you see here, the goal is really just each person can sign in. So now you can come in here and add yourself. And I would ask you to put in your details, your Discord, etc. After you put in your wallet address on this column, so if I put in something, although it's not an address, it tries to create here links for this type of address in the Block Explorer. So I can go in and I can see Nishan's wallet if I click there and go because I'm just using a Google Sheet formula to add the C Explorer address URL behind the address that's in this cell. So if I click there and go there, we can take a look at each other's wallets, and it's really practical. I can see what this colleague has been doing. And for example, I can see this was when I sent him some ULI tokens and Bliss tokens. So this is seeing it from his point of view. So coming back to this sheet, it's really interesting because I created these columns for what we've done in sessions so that people can, do an okay saying they've done these activities. Sometimes there's little glitches on the styling there because of the margins or something, but so this encourages people, even if they don't come to the session 1 week, they can do it asynchronously on their own time and keep in touch with what we're doing. So this is a sheet for the non-technical learners, but this started by being a PPBL one, where we had a bit more detail about the environment, what OS you're using. Yeah. And I'm really surprised that it's working okay with some learners. They really enjoy making a note of, for example, Andreas is from the Eastern Town Hall. So this is a colleague that's, these colleagues are all from the Eastern Town Hall on a different time zone, different work group. I almost don't know them. I was just there once, but they are using this to track a bit what they're doing and in a way to communicate with the colleagues. So now if I am on this stage and I know that Nelson is working on module 2 or something, and Trevin can realize that Nelson is on this module and they have, oops, yeah, because they have their Discord handles, they can talk between each other, they can reach out, okay?
Yes.
Another thing that I have in this document is this sheet of links and tools. If you've seen the videos, you've seen that we use it just to keep links of things. And like I've been saying several times, we're trying to enrich this side now. But the main thing here is the block explorers and the wallets and the faucet, this one there.
Yes. That's right.
So yeah, if you want to start like very quickly, what I encourage you to do is duplicate this document for yourself there and duplicate this document as well. But I would really just keep a link for both. If you keep looking at the English version and your French version, you can delete all the sessions and sort of roll back this to session 1. You draft your session 1, delete session 0, or you can use today's call as a session 0. I don't know.
Ce que je vais faire, en fait, c'est d'abord prendre ce que vous avez déjà fait, parce que je trouve ça déjà correct. En fait,
Yeah.
en fonction des tendances des apprenants, on aura juste à modifier ou ajouter un ou deux trucs, et puis le reste, c'est déjà bon. C'est cool.
Okay, great. So yeah, so I think we can just continue aligning. We're in touch on Discord and on WhatsApp. I'm going to invite you to, when you create your copies, keep in touch and drop links even on the Discord chat that we have for the initiative, because for other French teachers or for other people, we're going to learn about the process of duplicating the course, and then we can do besides the learners calls that we're doing on Wednesdays, now I'm going to move them to Thursdays. We can also do trainer calls between me, you, and some more trainers that we can align our method.
Ah, yes. Et ça, c'est important parce que, oui, c'est important pour qu'on ait une vision d'ensemble, en fait, de ne pas être dispersé.
Yeah, but we don't need to be very, very aligned with each other, but it's interesting to exchange ideas, especially about the contents and the tools. And if we find out that there's a new website that we can use or certain tools, I think that's going to be very interesting. So for example, I was thinking now, I was of keeping, for example, this document out, separated, and have this document be a common place so that we can learn from each other. But let's continue to iterate. For now, just start on yourself, focus on your own work. Don't mind so much about aligning back, because we can do that in a few weeks. So I'm really curious, how many learners do you have? What's the context for your learners?
Ah, ok. Bon, pour le moment, j'ai autour de six apprenants.
Okay.
au niveau local, c'est qu'ils sont vraiment intéressés, très intéressés. Les autres, bon, disons que la taille de la communauté est trop grande. Elle est trop grande parce que nous sommes en milieu universitaire, donc il y a possibilité d'apprendre à beaucoup de gens la technologie. Mais pour le moment, c'est d'ailleurs ce que nous faisons même au niveau local, au niveau du hub de Goma. On essaie d'intéresser les gens. Parce que pour le moment, même la blockchain et les crypto-monnaies en général, même au niveau du pays, c'est bon, ils disent que c'est illégal et tout ça. Mais bon, nous, on connaît déjà qu'est-ce que ça représente en termes d'avenir, en termes de technologie. Et on sait qu'en fait, si on rate l'opportunité d'apprendre, en fait, on sera en train de perdre.
Yeah.
Alors, on se dit, les politiciens et les autres ils viendront après, forcément, parce que c'est souvent toujours comme ça. Nous, les techniciens, on travaille sur des choses et à la fin, bon, on se dit c'est mauvais, mais à la fin, bon, on finit par adopter les histoires. Alors, pour le moment, j'ai six personnes qui peuvent apprendre les aspects non techniques assez rapidement. Et ils sont permanents. Bon, peut-être le seul problème que j'ai pour le moment, c'est qu'en fait, nous organisons des sessions on the ground, donc localement, pas en ligne.
Des sessions quoi?
Localement.
Okay.
Donc, on n'est pas en ligne.
OK. OK.
Oui.
Okay.
Ça veut dire, l'instructeur, il prend, parce que nous, on a un rétroprojecteur, on projette, et puis, et ils sont dans la salle, et puis on essaie de travailler ensemble.
So they will only have internet when they are on the sessions, when they come to the rooms? Is that it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Ah oui, parce que le vrai problème, c'est plus la qualité d'Internet ici au niveau local et les prix.
Okay.
Et quand on met ces deux éléments-là ensemble, parfois ça cause problème. Parfois, vous pouvez acheter 5 gigabytes de connectivité Internet, mais quand vous voulez l'utiliser, eh ben, ça devient un peu bizarre. La connexion n'est pas vraiment de très bonne qualité.
Okay.
Ce qui fait qu'on préfère éviter les sessions là en ligne.
Okay.
Mais je pense qu'avec cette approche ici, on va essayer aussi de s'adapter.
The online is not good enough to do video calls and sharing and all that, but at home they still have internet. If they want to do a transaction, if they want to use a wallet to send something, they have intermittent internet, right?
Non.
No, not at all. Okay.
Non, ils n'en ont pas. Donc, ce que nous faisons, en fait, c'est leur donner l'opportunité. Par exemple, quand ils viennent à l'université, quand ils sont à l'université, là, ils peuvent se connecter sur les réseaux de l'école et on peut travailler. Souvent, on travaille les samedis. Parce qu'il n'y a pas beaucoup d'activités. Alors, la bande passante est suffisamment dégagée. On peut travailler avec eux. Et c'est principalement cela. Okay. Et quand ils rentrent, parfois, bon, durant un moment, quand on avait encore un peu de finances au niveau local, on leur achetait un peu de connexion Internet. Un abonnement pour un mois. Et puis, on essaie de travailler durant les mois-là. Mais bon, pour le moment, les finances ne sont pas bonnes, donc on essaie un peu de s'adapter. Mais je pense que ça va aller.
Yeah, but if they start with literacy, with learning a bit on the crypto side, for example, I was thinking if about the illegal thing and etc. You can start with very simple things on the testnet, and they think, okay, they see they have their balance. If you can create this community, for example, now I'm starting to play with teams. So you have the red team and the green team or the pink team, etc. And if you create their tokens, you create add a picture, create your Paul tokens, and then I created Skywalker tokens, which is my link, my nick. So send those, make it a game, sort of. Okay, if you make that happen on testnet, the only difference between testnet and mainnet, as you know, is that your seed phrase needs to be very secure, and it's real money. So you need to spend. What's your local currency? What is your local currency? Le monnaie locale?
Franc-congolais.
Franco?
Congolais.
Congolais. Okay. 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 So if you start playing with that a bit on the testnet, create the tokens, make it sort of a game. Maybe even this board I have already allows people to take a look at each other's wallets. I was trying to look for more competitiveness So when I used to do children lessons for music and Lego and little things like that, I did that for 2 years. And I always used to create sort of a creative challenge for them to, for example, you can do ideas of what we can do with crypto. So one of the things I have in English and in Portuguese is presentation, an introduction to what is Web3. Obviously, if they're not connected at home, they're not very used to using the internet, but you can talk about web, not just crypto as, yes, you have tokens, ADA and Lucas coin, Paul coin and NFTs, but you can also have crypto websites. So website where you want to advertise something, or, you know, I'm going to send you a link in English about the Web3 introduction. And it's something that we never covered on our sessions as well. So it's probably going to be good for us to introduce that into the board. I'm going to put it in there now so we can have at least an introduction. I mentioned it once in my course, but yeah, for example, you know, in Ethiopia, they are doing, Cardano is doing the records, the academic records. So if these are students and they are efforting on school to have nice grades, it would be interesting for them to understand that with Cardano, their student history can be recorded on the blockchain, and it's valid in anywhere in the world if they want to study out and, you know, relate with the world in that level.
Ça, Frédéric Gentil, il a déjà copié la même chose. Au fait, on le fait aussi pour l'université avec Atala Praise.
Yeah.
Bon, pour le moment, ce n'est pas encore fonctionnel, mais c'est ce qu'il espère faire avec. Oui.
I'm trying to do a lot of things, and I'm curious to be in contact with many things. So probably, yeah, if we continue sharing resources about this initiative, I'm sure that we'll collaborate a bit on all of them, at least to exchange ideas.
Ok, merci beaucoup. Vraiment, merci.
Pas de quoi. Enchanté.
Oui, parce que je sais que vous devez être très, très occupé, parce que je vois souvent des sessions avec Gimbalabs et tout ça, je me dis...
Ouais, I'm on all of them, and I'm on like at least 4 or 5 communities. So, okay, we just have 2 minutes, but maybe we can leave it at this. And I'm going to publish this video for my French colleague. And thank you for coming over, because you're really helping me to start exercising the duplication for other languages and the process. Okay, keep in touch. I think connectivity. Hey, I was just saying keep in touch. Bye.
Keep in touch. Bye bye.
Ciao.
Ciao.